Hey, who's out there today? Happy Monday. Hang on, I'm trying to situate this. Well, this isn't cooperating. I should have done this beforehand. Hang on, this great story I gotta tell. And it's been a while since I've done a stream because I've been busy. We have had such extreme, horrible weather. We are in a fun spring. It was almost 90 degrees on Saturday. Today, it's, the high now, or about 24 hours nonstop. There's a lot of people out here that are flooded out and kind of needing a little bit of help. And some sick people, some sick homeless friends that need a little bit of help. So I've just kind of been doing that. And we're getting ready for another impending sweep. Gee, Denver, it's been so nice watching you sweep homeless people from one side of the street to the other. It's been an extreme pleasure. Not really. So we had good control of this area where people were until Denver started doing more sweeps closer to downtown and shoved them all down south into this area. So now they're going to sweep all these people from this area and back and forth and back and forth. Hi, Lucinator, how are you? So I have got to read you this letter. This, you guys, this is some funny shit. So you remember back in January, yeah, it's been more than 3 months ago, Kenny Berg, the cop, when I was simply recording the guy because I happened upon him parked like a jackass in the middle of the street with no lights. I see him dip, bitching at some homeless resident there. So I pull my car over and I legally park and I get out and I start recording the guy. You'll see that video. It's titled Denver PD District 4 Officer Blows Entirely at Intimidation. It's in my videos. Well, that video went very, very viral with a lot of the cop watchers. Look, I love the mixed bag of activism. Sometimes I end up being a cop watcher. Sometimes I end up being an activist. Sometimes I just end up in a regular old Joe out here just trying to do the right thing. And I like to record stuff, so that's what I do. Always record your interactions with the police because you can never trust them because they lie. Bottom line. So this letter is dated March 16th. So the Office of the Independent Monitor in Denver is the civilian oversight that monitors complaints made against law enforcement in Denver's office, in Denver's Department of Public Safety. It's an extra layer. It's a good layer, but it's really not functioning very well right now. And it hasn't since COVID. And then their director, Nick Mitchell, took a job in LA. So I don't think they've replaced him. I think they're having some staff turnover. So I'm really kind of concerned about them lacking in getting these letters out in a timely fashion. I had to send an email to ask about this. However, the Denver Police Department likes to drag their feet on occasion when they can. But this letter is dated March 16th, and I just got it today because I sent the OIM an email asking them what the status of the 2 complaints that I have filed with Denver are. Well, this one had already been issued. So if you go back and watch that video, you'll see me just recording him. I don't have any intentions of interacting with that cop. None, not one. I honestly thought that he was done with his bitch session and he was going to turn around and leave. He is the one that engaged me. So I responded. The first thing out of his mouth was, "Can I help you, ma'am?" And I said, "Yeah." "Why are you telling him to move along?" Because that's exactly what he move along. Those were his exact words. I'm going to respond to that. I have a problem with the Denver Police Department thinking it's their job to make the homeless move along. It's not their fucking job, period. They claim they were there to investigate trash. Whatever. It's the same business owner that keeps calling. That kid in the video cleaned that trash up immediately after I left. He also told me that that wasn't his trash. And you know what? I believe him because he really is not a tidy guy. He's not really into stacking trash behind the business's door. So he said he didn't put it there. I said, "Jonathan, could you do me a favor and clean it up?" "Sure, no problem." I gave him a bag. It was done. Boom, like that. But that cop was not there to address trash. He was there to intimidate and harass, as has been the case with District 4 repeatedly. And mind you, the second complaint that I have filed after this is of 2 Denver police officers in District 4 confronting the homeless without their body cams activated, telling them that the neighbors are sick of them and that they can't be there and that they need to leave. And if that wasn't enough, they initiated an investigation for a stolen bike. Again, in the same location that they took a supposed stolen bike from last time. Now, rumor is, I still haven't been able to confirm it because I don't have time, that bike wasn't stolen. And the Denver cop, the District 4 cop that took the bike, I'm being told, had it in his office the whole time. And the guy whose bike it was went back up there and got it. So you tell me why it might be really important to be catching the Denver police just doing their job. What is the big deal about being recorded, cops, if you're just doing your job? It's not a big deal. But boy, did they turn this one into a big deal because they got their feelers hurt because that video went very viral because San Joaquin Jr. picked it up and it went from there to Pink Camera Magic. Hey, lady, thank you. I still hope we're going to get together. Hey, Stephanie, how you doing? So I'm about to read this letter from the video that took place on January 26th with Officer Kennyberg. And I filed a complaint on him. I didn't even specify that he had broken any specific policy. I said this officer likely violated multiple department policies, including the way he was parked. Whatever other policies that they decided to ignore. I knew they were going to do that anyway. So that's why I just left it kind of open to see what policies they were going to point out that were obvious. At the end of that video, you'll see him walk up and start writing my plate number down. And I said to him, "Oh, so you can take my plate and run my plates, huh?" And I'm well aware he can do it. So for all of you who made a big deal about me saying he didn't have any probable cause to run my plates, he didn't. He was butthurt, so that's why he was going to do it. So Denver had to justify why he could run those plates. So here's this letter. "Dear Miss Benson, the complaint you made with the Office of the Independent Monitor regarding your interaction with Denver, a police officer, the amount of typos and misspelled words in this letter, holy hell, and this is signed by a commander, by Commander Megan Dodge. She is the commander of internal affairs. So it's to be assumed she wrote this letter. These typos are so juvenile. This was received by the Denver Police Internal Affairs Bureau on 1/26/21. Based on the review of your YouTube video and the officer's body-worn camera, the incident was determined to be a service complaint. In accordance with department policy regarding service complaints, There will be no disciplinary review. Oh, gee, there's a shocker. In your complaint, you stated the officer violated department policy in the way he interacted with you. No, I didn't. By asking for your name and then documenting your license plate number. You claim the officer should be fired. He should. The involved officer responded to a call for service from a citizen who was complaining about persons that were piling garbage up next to the back door of his building and were camping for extended periods of time without moving. One of the subjects had also been in an argument recently with the complainant where the complainant alleged he had been threatened. The officer was contacting the subjects and politely speaking to them about the concerns of the citizen and the camping laws when you arrived on scene. Guess what, Denver? You just admitted that you're trying to enforce the camping ban during an injunction. Smart move, dumbasses. They are not to be enforcing the camping ban. So not only did this commander double down on what the asshole was doing in the first place, they put it in writing. Way to go, dumbasses. We knew that you're still trying to enforce the camping ban. And you're not supposed to be doing it per the orders of the federal judge. The officer respectfully asked how he could help you. And you asked what he was doing. No, I specifically asked him why he was telling them to move along. He engaged me. Hello? He politely informed you why he was called to the location, and then you escalated the situation by becoming confrontational. You interjected yourself into the situation, lie, distracted the officer from the subjects he was interacting with because he's too fucking stupid to be able to focus on doing his job. That's my fault. Creating an officer safety concern. Oh, were you fearing for your life, Kennyberg? Did that camera just scare you to no end to where you shit your pants? And interfering with the officer discharging his duties. You then told the officer he needed to move on while the officer was still discharging his duties with the subjects and trying to inform them of the complaints made by other citizens and their responsibilities to their neighbors. Oh, so wait, Denver Police Department. So homeless folks are neighbors and subject to being criminalized for the camping ban? All in one letter? Holy hell, this is fantastic. You then asked for the officer's business card, and he immediately told you he would give you one when he was through with the situation he was dispatched to and asked you to wait by your car. Go back and watch it. You continued to bagger, B-A-G-G-E-R, bagger the officer for his business card and take his attention away from the subject he was addressing. I can't help it that he's too fucking dumb to do his job. All he had to do was do his job. I was just standing there recording him. What's the big deal? The officer was not required by department policy to stop what he was doing to provide a business card. However, to de-escalate the situation and return to his task at hand, he stopped what he was doing and gave you a business card. Well, that's fantastic. So he did his fucking job at that point. He gave me his card and I continued to film him. I wasn't interfering. He knew he was up to no good. Officers have the right during consensual, C-O-N-S-E-N-T-U-A-L, while I don't know at what point that was consensual, but okay. Or reasonable suspicion contacts. Okay, here's that sentence again. Officers have the right during consensual, with a T, or reasonable suspicion contacts to ask someone for identification and document identifying information, such as license plates, comma, especially someone who initiated the contact with the officer, comma, is being confrontational, vulgar, creating a disturbance, and being verbally defiant of an officer's lawful requests. I'm sorry, he didn't articulate that he was giving me a lawful order. He demanded me to go stand at my car. Well, he can go fuck himself, because I'm going to stand there and film him. And he should probably just do his job so he doesn't find time to interact with me. Because as we've seen, if you just do your job and not interact with me, I'll simply just record you, Denver. So stop making these fucking ridiculous things up. In addition, for their personal safety, officers have the right to direct where citizens can stand while they are taking official police actions. At what point was his personal safety at risk? The minute he saw the camera. This goes on. This is 2 pages long. It gets really good right here. This is the best part. Based on your behavior during this incident, the city attorney's office reviewed the video evidence. Well, wait a minute. So did the city attorney's office get sent the information by the Denver Police Department and say, hey, can we charge her now that this video has gone viral and we look like fucking morons? Can we go ahead and charge her for her behavior? That probably didn't happen, right? That never happened. The city's attorney's office reviewed the video evidence. Although you were not cited by the involved officer, the reviewing city attorney related that he would have accepted charges for violation of Denver's revised Municipal Code 3831, interference with police authority, which states, blah, 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 shall be unlawful for any person in any way to interfere with or hinder any police officer, any member of the police department, or any person duly empowered with police authority while such officer, member, or person duly empowered with police authority is discharging or apparently discharging their duties. Denver does a fantastic job of writing these revised municipal codes to cover everything from fucking lightning strikes to a flood on the street as interference of a police officer. Anybody could get charged for this at any time. Okay, charge me. Let's take it to trial. Let's take those videos to trial. I would love to do it. Come on, Denver. Come back. Come back, District 4. I mean, this is a fantastic war. Let's keep it up. Let's do it. In conclusion, the involved officer showed great restraint, not escalating this situation when you disobeyed his request for your name and when he asked you to wait by your car. The officer was never unprofessional or rude. Never. However, you responded by cussing and berating the officer for doing the job another citizen had requested of him. Oh, that's right. He wasn't doing the job that he swore his fucking oath to, was he? No, he was doing the job requested of him by the same guy that wants the police to come out here and harass the homeless. If you remember, I did a video in that same location a couple months prior to that, where a cop had shown up, apparently responding to that guy who had made a complaint about the same issue, trash behind his door. I don't make any excuses for the trash. However, if you don't know exactly where it came from, Why do you get to use the cops to pinpoint just some people that happen to be there? Well, you don't. But in response to that call, as you can see, and it's pretty consistent how I video cops, he was out there. I filmed him the whole time. You heard the business owner say, when I asked him, have you tried to talk to any of these people? No. Well, gee, why don't you come out here and have the same kind of conversation that I have with them about the trash? And I'll just bet you could get a good response in getting that trash cleaned up, even if they didn't do it. Because that's exactly what we did that day. After that guy called the cops out, they stood out on the corner. Same situation. That cop didn't engage me. He engaged me once when he said, I'm not out here to argue with you. I hadn't even said anything. The cop left. We cleaned up the trash. It was taken care of in 24 hours, less than 24 hours. Then this situation reappeared again. Same business owner calling the cops to get out here and do his fucking dirty work for him. Really? And they think that I'm not entitled to record that because of the shit they do and say to these people? You're out of your mind, Commander Megan Dodge and District 4. And I'll tell you what, this just really reignites some shit. You want to hear something else? This past Saturday, not this past Saturday, a week ago, April 24th, I was out here in this area, same area where all these people are residing. And I am actually doing some really good work. And I'm not publishing all of it because it really doesn't matter. But we've got some serious crises going on with certain individuals, and I happen to be making some really good progress. So on April 24th, I had to come out here and talk to somebody in a camper. It was on a Saturday. The businesses really aren't in full force here working on Saturdays. A couple of them are, so there's some traffic. But I went and talked to somebody at a camper. And when I was done talking to him, I stepped to the edge of the camper to cross the street because my car was legally parked across the street and I needed to get to my car. I stopped because there was a truck coming down the street. And just as soon as that truck passed, as I was watching it, I went to step forward. I turned my head, and this BMW, this SUV BMW, came hauling ass around the corner. I mean, was gunning it straight for me. I stepped back, and of course, at the last few seconds of this message this person was trying to send to me in this BMW, they swerved away. And at that point, something flew up and hit me in the face. I think it was a rock on the road. I don't know if he rolled his window down and threw something at me, but something hit me in the face after this guy was fucking gunning it for me in a brand new blue BMW SUV. And so I kind of stood there. I looked, I threw my hands up. I'm like, what in the fuck was that guy just doing? And I watched him just barrel down the street. He ran the stop sign and was gunning it. I'm like, I'm going to go get his plates. Somebody saw it, saw the whole thing. This guy was doing 100 miles an hour through this business district, trying to get back to Evans. And I caught him at the light, and I got a picture of his plate. I went up to District 4, to the police station, and reported it. Did I expect Denver to take it serious because it was me? Fuck no. They're not going to do that. The police are not there when they're fucking supposed to be. They're there when they want to be, period. So I made this report because there is a ton of aggression going on with the homeless and people in their vehicles and people trying to run them over or pretend like they're going to run them over. It's called assault. And Denver is on this big kick about the way everybody's driving, except them. They can drive like shit. I'm going to tell you another issue. Okay, so anyway, I go up to District 4 and I write out this complaint with the cop that's working the window. Here's her name, Audrey Lutkin. She works the window at District 4. Very nice, professional, cordial, took the complaint. But when she decided that she wasn't sure how it was going to go, she let me know that she would forward that on to detectives. But this just doesn't look like there's going to be any way to prove intent. How about the witness that saw it? How about the witness that saw this BMW gunning for me? How about you go find the fucking guy and ask him what he was doing and ask him why he was being so aggressive? I mean, Denver couldn't possibly do that kind of investigation, right? But their poor Kenny Berg, he deserves a leg up. Kenny Berg and the guy who wanted to harass the homeless over fucking trash. Yeah, trash. So she takes me, I said to her, I need a case number. Well, I'll just give it a reference number and we'll follow up. You think I've heard a word? Not a word. Not a single fucking word. But that's okay, because it involves harassment of the homeless or anyone advocating for them. And Denver wonders why their officers get berated. Berated is a feeling. I'm sorry you felt berated. Maybe you shouldn't have opened your fucking mouth. Pretty simple. Yeah, I'm a little fired up. And they're going to sweep my people. And I'm just going to stand there and go, this is fun. Here's another thing you should know about the Denver Police Department, if you want to keep watching. The other day, I had a little extra time, and I was just sitting in a rocking chair. It was nice. And I'm just perusing through Facebook, and I come across this post. Fox 31 is talking about a news story from the Denver Police Department. An officer by the name of Jacob Marsh is going to be charged with, I think, vehicular assault is what it was. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. Because he got in a high-speed chase with somebody that was speeding on I-70. That's nowhere over here. It's a completely different district. It's way east of here. But the story was interesting because this cop engaged in a high-speed chase and ended up hitting an innocent person head on. And the suspect in the stolen car got away. Well, Denver Police Department has a policy about high-speed chases in the metro area. They're not supposed to happen. So I think it's great that the guy's getting charged. He should. And I don't know if the charges are being initiated by the DA's office or what. Whatever. That's the premise of the story. So they post this story on Facebook, and I'm reading the comments. And there's a woman on there with the last name of Nuanes, Nuanes. And she's got the Blue Lives Matter, blah, 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 going on her profile picture. So I always kind of like to read that stuff to see what people that lick a lot of boots have to say. And according to her, the press has it all wrong. These weren't the details of what happened. And so she went on to correct the press and all the details. And I'm scrolling through the comments, and people are asking her, oh, so you were there, huh? And, oh, no, I know the details because of people that work with that officer. And I'm scrolling through the comments some more. Long story short, this woman's husband is named Officer Andrew Nuenes, and he's a longtime Denver police officer. And apparently, despite social media policies that the Denver Police Department has, it's okay for spouses to get on Facebook and talk about details of an investigation. It doesn't matter. You're not even going to believe this, but I'm telling you, this name has to get out there, because if anyone comes in contact with an Officer Andrew Nuenes, they should immediately ask for a supervisor, because this man cannot be trusted to complete an unbiased investigation without going home and telling his wife the details and her getting on social media and reporting those details. So I went on to have a conversation with this woman on Facebook, and she flat out tells me that her and her husband, who's an officer of 32 years, they've been married for 32 years, they talk about everything, and it's perfectly normal. I said, well, that's awesome. You have great communication after 30 years of marriage. Congratulations. He tells you everything that happens at work. Not fantastic, not even remotely close. What's not totally normal is for you to get on Facebook and advertise it. I mean, I was in shock. This woman was admitting that her and her husband have talked about the details of this case. It's still an ongoing criminal investigation. The guy is going to be charged. There's an internal affairs investigation, right? You see how they do their investigations. That cop's not going to have done anything wrong. And she gets on Facebook. I called internal affairs this time instead of filing a complaint through the Office of the Independent Monitor, because I knew there was some lagging going on with getting these complaints handled in a timely fashion. So I decided to go ahead and call directly to the Denver Police Department Internal Affairs. And I said, hey, it was Sergeant Castillo answered the phone. I said, look, this is going on Facebook. This is not good. And I think you should do an investigation. And so he takes the information, and I asked him to call me back with a case number for the investigation. He calls me back the next day at 10:30, leaves me a voicemail. I call him back in the afternoon. I don't hear from him. I leave him another voicemail. I said, I'd like to get that investigation number. He doesn't call me back until the next day. He tells me, and this is a recorded conversation, he got flippant with me because he said some things and then tried to backtrack, and I called him on it, and he got all pissed off and let me know that he's certain what he said is true because this conversation is being recorded, blah, blah, blah. But long story short, it's okay that she did what she did because the press was wrong. The facts and the details that the press put out there was wrong. So that was one reason that made it okay. The second reason that made it okay was that she was not an employee of Denver or the Denver Police Department. So her husband is off the hook because he could tell her things and she can get on Facebook and post it. I shit you not. This cop is telling me this. Okay. And the third reason it was okay is because it didn't interfere with the investigation in the building, which would be probably District 5, where they're having to do an internal affairs investigation. And so he says to me, so for those reasons, we're not going to do an investigation. Oh, wait a minute. So you did do an investigation, but you didn't really do an investigation. So what's your investigation number? Well, there won't be an investigation. So to add more fuel to the fire, it's okay. You can rest assured that cops go home and talk to their spouses, and they can get on social media and post all about it. It was almost as if they were thankful that she got on there and corrected the press. Well, that wasn't the point. The point was, if the press needed correcting, then why didn't the approved Denver spokesperson for the Denver Police Department do a press conference or issue a press release? Well, they have policies for that, and that no one is to speak for the Denver Police Department. But since she's not an employee, I guess she can do that and admit that she got the information from her husband. I shit you not. I got screenshots of it, of all of it. So Andrew Nuanis, and get this, here's another thing Sergeant Castillo said. Hold on, I forgot what I was going to say, because it's bad. let me back up. Oh, here's what he said. He said that the public could access any of that information. She said nothing that the public couldn't access. That's another lie. It's an active investigation. The public cannot access information that's part of an active investigation per our Criminal Justice Records Act. Denver tries every time not to release information if they don't have to. You can, Nuenes, Nuanes, Andrew Nuenes. His badge, A.L. Nuenes. And that's thanks to his wife taking pictures of him and putting him on her Facebook page. I shit you not. That's another policy they have, that those kinds of things can affect the integrity of the agency, and they say not to do it on social media. Oh, they do whatever the hell they want. He's been a cop for a very long time. So about public information, that was a lie. So internal affairs will even create their own lies to not have to do an investigation. The details of that case are not public. And that woman got on there and made the details public when the Denver Police Department's not even coming out and saying that the press has it wrong. Holy shit. How many stupid excuses can they make for this? About public information. If you do a deep Google search on Andrew Nuenes, this guy, he's been in 3 accidents on the job. He backed into a fire hydrant and he rear-ended a woman at a light that was broke down because he wasn't paying attention and he didn't know she was stopped. That's because he was down here on his computer and his phone, rear-ended a woman. And then it gets even better. He wouldn't accept the discipline. Denver Police Department has a point system of their own for assessing points on their license, I think. Regardless, it was a civil commission, or it was the union went to bat for him because he wasn't going to accept the amount of points that the Denver Police Department wanted to assess to him for the accident that he rear-ended someone in. Yeah, and then the dude backs into a fire hydrant after that. And then, get this, he becomes a motorcycle cop. I don't know if this was before or in between or after, but the fact that they let this dude get on a motorcycle, holy shit! He had an accident on a Denver police motorcycle after he'd been off. Denver has some kind of funky thing going on with their insurance policies that allow coverage for officers to go back and forth from home to work with the cars, and they're fully covered, but not with the motorcycles. If they have an accident after a shift, it's not covered. But get this, they covered it for him. And there's a Westward article out there that talks about how Denver would have been, how he would have financially been up shit creek because of the medical expenses involved from a motorcycle accident that the city picked up for him and supposedly had no coverage. So there you go, taxpayers. There's some more fantastic news for you. Yep, so that's Officer Andrew Nuenes. And he has a brother, and I think the brother's kid used to be a cop, Michael Nuenes. He's in the press for beating the shit out of his girlfriend. Yeah, so that name, I mean, it's around. It's been around the Denver Police Department for quite a while. Nuenes, Nuanes. I'm assuming most of it's District 5. But I just thought I should get that out there because I told Sergeant Castillo, I said, well, I disagree with you and here's why. And I'm going to tell the whole world that if they come in contact with this officer, that they should, because this dude cannot be trusted with an investigation, an unbiased approach, because he goes home and tells his wife and she blasts it all over Facebook. I'm not, if I ever have any interaction with that cop, hell no, I ain't saying a word. Not a word. So that's that. Nuenes. So I haven't done a stream in a while. And Pohika, you're not in here. That's okay. Next time. So I'm going to have to go and talk to some people and try to clean up some messes because it's inevitable that we're going to have a sweep over here. And that's going to be another really difficult thing to get through, especially now that I read this shit. Move along. It's okay. Yeah. Move this, Denver. Poor Kenny Berg. Oh, and there's another video of Kenny Berg after the fact. It's like 20 seconds where he's talking shit to some of the guys over here. I just pull up. Well, actually, I was already there talking to some other cops. It was kind of weird how all that happened. I was talking to some other cops, and then within minutes, Kenny Berg showed up. It's almost like he wanted to engage me. He knew I was there. So I just got out of the car and started filming him. I didn't say a word. Not a word. So if I wanted to badger the guy, bag him, Bagger, I could have done it then. I didn't say a word. He saw me. He continued to talk a little bit of shit to the guy, and then turned around and got in his car. So he must have just been doing his job, and he turned his turn signal on when he almost caused a wreck, pulling back out into traffic because he wasn't looking. But anyway, my point is, Denver, really cut the shit with trying to say that I'm interfering, because I'm not. You're all just very sensitive about getting caught on camera, because most of the time you're not doing the job that you're supposed to be doing. It's that simple. So that reignites a heightened awareness as to why you cannot ever trust the police. They lie. They lie to cover up why they shouldn't even investigate their own lies. It's the truth. They lie. They cannot be trusted. Ever. Always record the police. And please, Denver, if you'd like to initiate those charges, go for it. Really. I mean, why put that in the letter? Just do it. You think that scares me? It doesn't. Because no jury is going to say that I interfered with him doing his job. Who's making brisket? Are you smoking it, Sarah? Hey, it's good to see you. Oh, yeah, you're doing a good brisket. Oh, you know what, you guys, speaking about ovens and cooking and burned and so on, we've had a couple fires out here, and it's really sad. It's really very sad. One of the guys, his van blew up, and he's in ICU at a hospital. And then a few days later, a woman who knew better used some kerosene to try to barbecue, and she burned herself. So that's not good news. So that adds to more reasons that Denver feels compelled to sweep people during human suffering. So that's been a sad deal. The guy that's his van blew up, I don't know, I guess the fire department's doing an investigation. We'll see what they come back with. It doesn't sound like he was being very smart about using a gas generator to stay warm, and having a propane bottle in the vehicle at the same time. But, you know, the desperation when they're trying to stay warm and do things out here. The education is key, and it's really not so much about the education as it is reasons to try to cause more displacement and despair. And that's exactly what's going to happen with this sweep. So, and, you know, it's no secret that I'm admittedly powerless against the almighty machine. I mean, I can't stop that. I can help people, but I can't stop it. So, I don't know. It's kind of a sad deal. Off topic, thoughts on Eric's sentence. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I haven't said anything because, to be really honest and really frank with you, the things I know have gone unsaid, and they will, because it doesn't matter, because Eric will always have his ignorant band of followers because they think Eric is a genius, and he's not. Nobody's talking about the plea deal he took, about what a chicken shit I was for taking a plea out in Fort Morgan, out in Morgan County. You remember that? All that berating about what a cunt I was and all those kinds of things, and me remaining silent while all his followers piped in as well and sent people to my house. So let me just say that that piece of shit is exactly where he belongs. So that's where I'm at with that, Sarah. And anyone that wants to, you know, spend their time defending him is uninformed and completely ignorant. And the fact that no one's talking about the plea deal he took, wasn't it kind of funny how Eric never went public about the actual reason he took the plea deal? Think about it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I don't feel sorry for him. He went exactly where he needed to go. Bohika, there you are. How are you? 12 years. What the fuck did he do, John? Well, he threatened a bunch of judges. And he got hung for it. Pretty simple. It's really not a good idea to say that you're gonna go to a judge's parents' house. It's really not a good idea to say a judge is gonna look good hanging from a tree. They're just really not very good ideas. So if people think that that's what the First Amendment auditing community should be doing, you're a fucking moron. Okay? Because that is not what the First Amendment is. It's not. Yep, and it did. And you know, the fact that he can say all these things and activate crazy people like he did to me. It was okay what he did to me. That was fine. And having someone show up at my house, yeah, that was cool. Because I'm not a judge. So that's what I think is wrong with this situation. Is that he didn't go fucking do 12 years for what he did to me. It was just a matter of time. Why do you think Eric was so vocal about me? Why did I matter so much? Just because I revoked a couple bonds? Why the fuck would I hold bonds on him? 2 of those were in my husband's name. He said, no, there will be nothing in my name. I said I couldn't agree more. I'm not going to hold that idiot's bonds. Eric was a false prophet for the homeless. Anyone that thinks he's done anything for the homeless, show me. Show me. And the reason Eric and I first started to communicate was because of his consistent outcry for the homeless being harassed by the police. Eric had one stint of homelessness, and it really wasn't even a whole stint of homelessness. Yeah, I'm not going to risk that bond. 3 of them, as a matter of fact. No, let me just say, in a nutshell, that was the biggest regret of activism that I've ever participated in, ever. It was a major time suck. I actually thought that Eric had some genuine interests in advocating for the homeless. And every instance where I was involved with him was advocating for someone else. And he had to take it over. It had to be about him, whatever. And so, of course, I started pulling away and doing my own thing. And he didn't like that either. That was not allowed. You will do what Eric tells you or else. Yeah. So, I started to not buy into his bullshit anymore. And so that pissed him off. But then along the way, I learned a few things, and it was time to definitely part ways forever. So I'll always be that bitch. I'll always be worth that slander fest on YouTube amongst the ignorant who praise his intelligence. Look how intelligent he is. That guy's real smart, ain't he? He's super smart. So yeah. And he lied. He lied about, what he wanted to see happen for the homeless, and it was a way for him to go fight with the cops. The bottom line, that's what it was. And that's not, I don't have a problem fighting with the cops. I could do that all day long. It's really not that stimulating for me. It's not. I want people to record them. Trust me, I am no fan of law enforcement, but I am not going to spend every waking moment trying to go to jail over taking on cops, because you're gonna go to jail. I'm not afraid to go to jail, but shit, I would really like to kind of get some stuff done out here. My nonprofit had been in the works for a very long time. Eric was supposedly supposed to be a part of that as well. Yeah, because he had his own nonprofit. Yeah, that was a lie. So I don't know. That was definitely a very embarrassing and very bad mistake I made. And my family paid the price. Holy shit, they paid the price. And I'm just glad that my family is smart. We'll just say that. Send him a singing telegram. Yeah, I ain't sending that guy shit. I'm kind of excited to hear what prison they're going to put him in here in Colorado. We have some pretty brutal prisons. And if anybody thinks that he's going to go in the DOC and disrupt a prison like he's disrupted county jails, no one will ever hear or see him. Because people, that is prison, not the county jail. And Eric won't be teaching the inmates anything, because the majority of those inmates in there are in there for violent crime. And they're not there to have some guy come in and start telling them how to start shit, because no prison in Colorado is going to tolerate it. So for everybody singing high praises that he's just going to go right into one of these Department of Correction facilities and just turn it inside out, you're a fucking moron. He's not. Oh, yeah, singing telegrams to the judges and cops. Yeah. I think the inmates are probably going to be doing that. And I think Eric will probably be singing for them. I'm just saying. So, yeah, but enough of that time suck. You know, he's exactly where he belongs. I'm sorry. I make no apologies for it. He's exactly where he belongs. So, all right, you guys. Well, it's raining again. And I got to go help a couple people with shelter. So it was really nice to be in here. It's nice to just sit and talk. And I need to do it more. And I apologize. And that's dumb that I wait for these stupid instances to chat with everyone. But it is what it is. So remember that, you know, good old Commander Megan Dodge and her chastising letter of my behavior. Come on, Megan, just bring on the charges. Would you, girlfriend? Bye, guys.